Today's episode is brought to you by Renewal by Andersen of Central Pennsylvania. Renewal by Andersen offers you a better way to a better window. Go to RBACentralPADeals.com for this month's specials. What caused almost 50 people at a charter school to fall ill last week remains unknown. Meanwhile, a new law is set to lift license suspensions for thousands of drivers. Pittsburgh is looking to extend a program that makes parking easier for delivery drivers. Plus, 5 places in Pennsylvania have been ranked amongst the best to retire. I'm Claudia Dimuro, and you're listening to Today in PA. 48 adults and children fell ill last Friday at Lehigh Valley Academy Regional Charter School in Bethlehem, reports the Associated Press. Emergency responders were sent to the scene after almost a dozen people were reported sick in one of the school's buildings. The building was evacuated, and after multiple tests were conducted for things like carbon monoxide and flammable gases, officials still aren't sure what happened. Air specialists are scheduled to come within this week to further evaluate the building. Most of the afflicted that were taken to the hospital have been released. A new law signed by Governor Tom Wolf last week will lift the driver license suspensions of over 6,000 people who lost their driving privileges due to non-traffic violations, reports Capitol Wire via the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. These violations include low-level drug crimes, something which a 2018 law already ended license suspensions for, although that legislation wasn't retroactive. Critics of such a suspension claimed that taking away someone's license for a non-traffic violation was a penalty that made it more difficult for them to get and keep jobs. Another driving-related bill that became law also requires for the state to create a program that offers those with a history of dangerous driving safer driving classes. Pittsburgh unveiled a one-year pilot program this past spring that sought to make parking easier for delivery drivers, states the Tribune Review. Legislation introduced to the City Council yesterday would extend that program for 3 years. Called a Smart Loading Zone program, the initiative designates zones for DoorDash and other delivery service employees for short-term parking. What they do is scan a QR code that's on a sign in the zone, then enter information like company and license number in order to park in it. There's also an automated payment system, taking out the need to stop and feed a meter. The point of the program is to stop people from lingering in spots, and the data so far looks promising. Average park times and incidents of double parking have so far been seen to go down with these zones. A preliminary council vote on the matter could take place as early as next week. U.S. News recently released their 2022-2023 Best Places to Retire list, begins PennLive. And there, right in the top 10, are 5 places in Pennsylvania. Reading settled into the 10th overall spot, Allentown 9th, York 5th, Harrisburg 2nd, and Lancaster 1st. Lancaster managed to take the crown thanks to high scores in things like senior health care, retiree tax rates, and overall resident happiness. That's all, folks. For even more news, pay a visit to PennLive.com. And please don't forget to rate this podcast on Apple or Amazon and to leave an honest review if you can. Thanks ahead of time, and as always, thanks for listening. I'm Claudia Dimuro, and I'll see you tomorrow for another round of Today in PA. Today's episode is brought to you by Renewal by Andersen of Central Pennsylvania. Renewal by Andersen offers you a better way to a better window. Go to RBACentralPADeals.com for this month's specials.